Hello students, welcome to the online video class, and I am Bangla Bharathi, Associate Professor of English, Vivekananda Government Degree College, Vidyanagar, Hyderabad. Today we are going to do spellings of the first year UG, that is BA, BCOM, BBA, BSc, semester 1 and semester 2. This is the first year of Osmania University. Now today we are going to do spellings part of it. Let me just upload the PowerPoint presentation. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute, students. Okay. I hope you have, you can see the PowerPoint. It is spelling 2A, semester 2 of UG General English course of BA, BCom, BBA and BSc affiliated to Osmania University. Now, why is spelling important? This is important because most of the Indian languages or most of the languages across the world do not have a word for spell, because spelling is a meaningless concept in Indian languages, because the way the words are written corresponds exactly to the way they are pronounced or they sound, whereas English is different. A single sound may take a dozen or more forms when it is written down. That's the reason, because of this mismatch between what we say and how the words are written, is what makes spelling of English such a big challenge, and that's the reason why we need to learn spellings. Now, recap of what syllabus you had in the first semester. In semester 1, we had most commonly mispronounced or misspelled words. Lesson 2, we learned about how to make antonyms using the prefix un or dis. Lesson 3, we looked at words that end with shun, T-I-O-N and S-I-O-N. Both of them pronounce the same shun. And lesson 4, shun and meant, the suffix. Each lesson in each lesson, every semester, 4 lessons, they all have 4 different exercises. In those 4 different exercises, there is one spellings topic. And now today we are going to look at spellings of semester 2. What do we have in semester 2? In the second semester, lesson 5, we have how to spell IE or EI. Very often, most of the times, Indian students find it difficult in knowing where to write IE and where to write EI. So lots of examinations, competitive examinations, have 1 or 2 bits based on the correct spelling. You have to write the correct spelling, either fill in the blanks or choose the correct word with the correct spelling. And lesson number 6, we have suffixes, words ending with ible or able, ible and able. They both pronounce the same. Lesson number 7, we look at suffixes like al, ance, ence, ic, ity, ive. That is al, ans, ens, ik, ity and ive. Lesson 8, we look at word derivations using suffixes. Now today, in today's class, we will be learning spellings of lesson 5 and 6. That is, how to use and where to use, when to use IE or EI. And lesson number 6, words ending with suffixes IBLE and ABLE. Now, lesson 5, spellings. We have many words which have IE, achieve, mischief, barge, surge. There are many words which have the spelling in between IE and EI. What are the rules? How to identify, where to write IE, where to write EI? What are the rules and what are the exceptions? And I'll be showing some videos on spellings from the YouTube. Then we will look at the textbook exercises. This is your textbook, UG English Made Easy, for part 1 and part 2, both semester 1 and 2. In that, each lesson has one exercise. So lesson 5, I'll show you the video scans or the scan shot of the exercise, then followed by the exercises or the key, the answers. So I want you to focus very carefully when I'm playing the videos. Get your notebook, keep your pen or pencil aside, and as the video is going on, note down the important points, look at the examples, note down the examples and learn it. So we'll look at IE and EI. The first video, watch it carefully.
Let's take a look at these words: achieve, believe, and peace. Now, these words are sometimes misspelled like this, with E before I. And it's an easy mistake to make. In fact, phonetically, it kind of makes more sense. Words with I and E, or E and I, often cause spelling headaches. Still, to this day, I remember the little rhyme that my grade 2 teacher taught me. I before E, except after C, which is a really handy way of remembering the spelling of these words. The letter combination IE is more common than EI. It just appears more. In fact, EI is quite rare, really. But there are some very common everyday words that use EI. Let's take a look at these words: achieve, believe, and peace. Now, these words are sometimes misspelled like this, with E before I. And it's an easy mistake to make. In fact, phonetically, it kind of makes more sense. Words with I and E, or E and I, often cause spelling headaches. Still, to this day, I remember the little rhyme that my grade 2 teacher taught me. I before E, except after C, which is a really handy way of remembering the spelling of these words. The letter combination IE is more common than EI. It just appears more. In fact, EI is quite rare, really. But there are some very common everyday words that use EI. And many of them follow a C, like the verb receive. It's a perfect example of I before E, except not C. Receipt is another. Feeling, to see, frequency. So that little rhyme is useful sometimes. But if you live your life by this rule, you'll make spelling mistakes for sure. So as always, there are exceptions. I feel like English is the language of exceptions. In actual fact, the rule I before E except after C usually is only relevant when the vowel sound represented by the IE is the long E sound. Receive, receive, receipt, receipt, feeling, feeling, deceive, deceive, preconceive, preconceive. Okay, now are you ready for the exception? Words like ancient, efficient, and science, and sufficient are exceptions to the rule. I before E except after C doesn't work here. And that's because the vowel sound represented by IE is not E. Ancient, ancient, efficient, efficient, science, science, sufficient, sufficient. And the EI combination can follow other consonants, not just these. There, foreign, weird, leisure, height, neighbor, way, vain, and feisty. How is it possible that this little combination of letters is so difficult? IE or EI. It's the source of confusion for English learners and many native English speakers too. So if you're having trouble with these spelling rules, keep this lesson in mind. The I before E except after C rule is a really helpful rule to remember. But it only really applies when the IE is pronounced as E. Well, I hope that you got some handy tips out of this lesson. Let's take a look at these words. Achieve.
Okay, students, I hope you have understood. So there is a nursery rhyme, I before E, never before C, never with C. So always IE should come as a rule. Only when this IE is pronounced as E, elongated long vowel E, then IE comes. When it has A sound, A, then it is EI. Simple rule. There are some exceptions also. So here is another short video. Look at it, watch it carefully. You will get to know more.
Rule 1, IE or EI. Believe, B-E-L-I-E-B-E. Field, F-I-E-L-D. Shield, S-H-I-E-L-D. These are regular spellings of the words with IE in them. But receive, R-E-C-E-I-V-E. Receipt, R-E-C-E-I-P-T. Perceive, P-E-R-C-E-I-V-E. Rule, I before E, except after C, when the sound is E. Believe, B-E-L-I-E-V-E. Receive, R-E-C-E-I-V-E. Rule, except after C, when the sound is E. Rule 1, test time. I before E, except after C, when the sound is E. Write your answers with a pen. There'll be 15 words. I'll read the word, read a word sentence with the word in it, and then read the word again. Then we'll check shortly afterwards.
So as the presenter is going to read the words, you need to take the dictation and write the spelling. And at the end of the slideshow, he's going to give you the answers. So get ready with the pen and pencil and your notebook and start writing the dictation. Here we go.
I before E except after C when the sound is E. 1. Conceive. The robbers failed to conceive of a plan. Conceive. Receipt. Abdul kept the receipt from the shop. Receipt. Ceiling. They painted the ceiling last week. Ceiling. Believed. The judge believed her. Believed. Tried. They tried many times and at last were successful.
Tried.
Received. She received a surprise email from him. Received. There. Their marriage lasted a lifetime. Friend. Muhammad was her best friend. Friend. Atheist. The group had among them a devout atheist. Atheist. Conscience. Julie's conscience was clear. Conscience. Experience. Brian's experience paid off. Experience. Foreign. James found himself listening to a foreign language. Foreign. Conceited. He came across as a little conceited. Conceited. Height. Ursula managed to reach the top shelf on account of her height. Hierarchy. In the army, there is a strict hierarchy. Hierarchy. Now check your answers and correct your errors by typing them out in the comments box below.
I hope you have written your answers. Here you need to check them. See, conceive, E, receipt, E, believe, try, eyed, friend, friend, atheist, conscience, experience, foreign, conceited, height, I, hierarchy, higher, I. Whenever there is that I sound, I, then you have the words are spelled EI. But otherwise, most of the times it is IE. I before E, except after C. But in that exception, when the pronunciation is E, it is I before E. Otherwise, if it is A, I, then it is EI. I hope you have got it. Please check your answers with the words here, the spelling that is given here.
One, I, E or EI.
Okay, we go to the next slide. Okay, here are the words that are spelled EI because they have I sound, A. Like sees, it is E. Being, these are the exceptions. You have to remember very few exceptions are there. Beard, ear, signs, eye, either, society, society. Now these are the exercises that you have in the first part of your lesson number 5. I'll give you 2 minutes of time. Just try to write the answers. First one is air, fire, seizure, financier, mischievous, achieve, shake, surveillance, counterfeit, faint, protein, their, died, species, glacier, leisure. Look for the words that sound sh. With sh also there's an exception that we have seen in the earlier video. I'll keep the time for you. Take 1 more minute and write the spellings. Your time starts now. Okay, time up. Now check, keep your answers with you. And in the next slide, there is the key that is posted. Check your answers. Here it is. Now, you have to memorize the rhyme I before E, never with C, or when sounding like I, A. Hair, fire, seizure, EI, financier, IE, mischievous, CHIE, achieve, shake, surveillance, counterfeit, faint, protein, their, died, species, glacier, IER, GLACIER, leisure, LEISURE, leisure. I hope you have got these exercises and the nursery rhymes, and I hope you have understood the concept or the rules of using IE or EI. When the pronunciation is E elongated, then it is I before E. Never with C, but there are few exceptions. And whenever there is A sound, I sound, then it is again IE. Then lesson number 6, we are going to look at the suffixes able and ible. Now, how do you recognize when to use ABLE, when to use IBLE? Both suffixes mean capable of or ability to do something, capable of or suitable for. Like enjoy, enjoyable, that is able to be enjoyed. Edible is suitable for eating. Readable, capable to read. Reversible, capable of being reversed. So base word ABLE, it's easily identifiable, such as adapt, adaptable, bear, bearable. There are few exceptions, like when the base word ends with E, the E is dropped off and you have ABLE, like debate, DEBATE. Debate is the root word. That E is dropped and you have ABLE. In the same way, you have adore, ADORE. When you have to make a suffix with ABLE, E is dropped, adore, E is dropped, ABLE is added. In the same way, when the base word in words ending with IBLE, They may not be easily identifiable, as in the case of horrid, horrible, fees, feasibility, feasible, principle such as accessible, access, accessible, flex, flexible. There are few exceptions, but most of the times there are many words that end with able. Lots of them. With ible, some 40, 50, or maybe 100. But lots of words have able. And whenever the root word ends with E, that E is dropped and able is added. This is the one rule that you have to remember. Now let's watch a video that explains further. Watch and write the words carefully in your notebook. Here we go.
They're both common spelling patterns for adjectives and usually sound the same. They mean able to or fit for, as in acceptable, understandable, responsible. And these following words mean able to be: available, available to be used or obtained; audible, able to be heard; breakable, able to be broken; visible, able to be seen. So when do we use ible and when do we use able endings? So is it understandable, terrible, dependable? Knowing which of these suffix endings to use can be tricky, really tricky. There are no hard fast rules with these. You've just got to learn them, I'm afraid, and practice them. Let's go deeper into these endings. There are more words ending in able, about 900, than ible, less than 200. Let's look at the able words. They usually come from French. We can make new words with this ending. Networkable, childproofable. So general rule is if we take away the able ending, we're usually left with a root word. For example, understandable equals understand plus able. Enjoyable, enjoy plus able. Comfortable,
Comfort plus able.
Depend, dependable. But like all spelling rules, there are always exceptions. If the root word ends in E, then we usually drop the E. Value plus able, valuable. Desirable, movable, believable, excitable. But words that keep the E are saleable, hireable, sizable, nameable. The best way to remember these is to memorize them. But, drop the E or keep the E. Both of these are correct in these words. Likeable with an E or without an E. Lovable, E, no E. Usable, E, no E. No E. The Y becomes I when adding able. Justify, change the Y to I. Justifiable. Rely, reliable. We can also apply the 1-1-1 doubling up rule when adding able to words like forget. The second syllable is stressed, and it has one vowel and one syllable, so double up the T. Forgettable. And regret, regrettable. You can check out my other video on the doubling up 1-1-1 rule. Also, we usually keep the E with words ending in CE and GE, so the words retain the C and G sound. Changeable, manageable, noticeable, pronounceable, serviceable, traceable, knowledgeable. If the main part of the word ends with a hard C, as in cab, can, or hard G, game, then the ending is always able. For example, despicable, applicable, impeccable, amicable, navigable. Let's look at the ible words. Ible words come from Latin, and there are no new Latin words. So we can't make any new words like networkable or childproofable. As a general rule, we aren't left with a root word when we take away the ible ending, like in the able endings. But as I said, there are always exceptions. Look at these: corruptible, destructible, contemptible, perfectible. Notice these have got a T-I-B-L letter pattern. It's always great to see patterns and also to know and understand exceptions to rules. Look at these. Access plus higher, flexible. And the other tuple endings, convertible, digestible, convertible. We also drop the E with ible. Collapsible, responsible, sensible, reducible. Words ending in C have a softer sound with ible. Forcible, invincible, reducible. Notice we drop the E in forcible, reducible. Mainly when we take away the ible endings from the word, we're left with a word that doesn't really make sense. You just have to learn the common ones, and there's some great words in the ible word list. Look at these: terrible, horrible, incredible, sensible, possible, impossible, edible, accessible, flexible, legible, collapsible, visible, responsible, reversible. Great words. So let's recap. Able is the most common ending, and we can make up new words with this ending. We can see the root word in these words if we knock off the able ending. And remember, we can keep the E or drop the E with likeable, lovable, useful. Some great ABLE words are available, adorable, comfortable, vegetable, understandable, acceptable, reasonable, bearable, believable, capable, flammable, changeable, loads of them. And words in the ible list include sensible, possible, impossible, horrible, terrible, legible, illegible, flexible, credible, incredible.
Well, students, I hope you have understood the usage, when to use IBLE or when to use ABLE. Both mean the same, but there are about more than 900 words with ABLE because that comes from French. Latin, very few words have come. So words that have Latin origin are very few, around 200 or less than 200. So most of the common suffix is ABLE, like enjoyable, readable, acknowledge, knowledgeable, adaptable. And when a word ends with E, that E is dropped and ABLE is added. But some words, IBLE is added. The exceptions are always there. So horrible, feasible, accessible, these are the words that take IBLE. Now we'll look at the exercises. Now this is the exercise where there are 20 words. I'll give you 2 minutes of time. Check whether you write your answers, whether ABLE comes or IBLE. What should the suffix be? So I'll keep the time for you. Write the answers. And then I'll present the screen where the key is there. You can cross-check with those answers, but you try to attempt. Some cases you retain the E, like lovable, EABLE. Sometimes you remove the E. Both are correct in such cases. Yes, start answering these questions. Permission, permissible, bear, bearable, break, breakable, odd, audio, that is audible, collapse, collapsible, move, movable, illegible, advisable, acceptable, responsible, inflatable, eligible, incredible, navigable, reversible, preferable, justifiable, invincible, capable, negligible. I've read the words for you. Now try to see where ABLE comes, where IBLE comes. One more minute. Okay, time up. Shall we look at the answers? Keep your answer book, your notebook, and cross-check and see out of 20 how many you have got it correct. Okay, these are the answers. Permission, permissible, IBLE. Bear, bearable, ABLE. Break, breakable. Sometimes you can also retain BREAK, EABLE is also correct. Odd, audio, audible. Collapse, SE, ends. Here, collapsible, IBLE. Move, movable. Illegible, advisable, acceptable, responsible, inflatable, eligible, incredible, navigable, reversible, preferable, justifiable, invincible, capable, and negligible. Negligible. So these are the answers. If you have cross-checked, just make your own scores. Out of 20, how many you have scored, that will be your score for today. If at any part of the video you didn't understand, go back, pause, and listen to it again. The more you listen, the better you will understand and the better you will remember. So reading a lot improve your spellings also. The more you read, subconscious mind will pick up all those words, sentences, the vocabulary, the usage, the grammar. And in your subconscious mind, when this sits, automatically in your speech or in your writing, the correct spellings or the correct structure will come. That's the reason why we keep telling you to read loudly, to read as much as possible, and to listen to as much of English as possible. Now, so a quick recap of lesson 5 and 6 spellings. In lesson 5, we have learned the usage of spellings IE and EI. I before E, never with C. Exceptions, especially when it is pronounced as E, you have IE. When it is A, then it is an exception. We have looked at the rules that are to be followed. What are the exceptions? We have watched videos, the textual exercises, and we have seen the key also. In lesson number 6, we have learned how to use the suffix able and ible. What are the rules that are to be followed? We watched some videos, we looked at the examples, we have checked the textual exercises, we have also cross-checked your answers with the key. With this, we have learned spellings of lesson number 5 and lesson number 6 of semester 2 of the UG first year General English course. And the videos that are used in this PowerPoint are from the menglish.com and also from the BBC learningenglish.com and other websites which are official. You can also go to those websites and enroll yourself as a student. You can access to many number of videos and many online tests and examinations also. So thank you students for watching. If you have any doubts, you can go back to the video, watch it from the beginning, pause where you need to write the answers and pause there and solve your papers also. Till we meet in the next lesson, next video class, where we'll be doing spellings of lesson number 7 and 8. Till that time, stay home, stay safe, wear your facial mask, wash your hands very carefully, and whenever you are outside, maintain that social distancing. And then if you have any doubts, you can drop in your doubts in the comments section. I will revert to you. And this video will be available on the internet. It is better that you subscribe to it. So whenever I upload a new lesson, you will get the notification. So subscribe to this channel, press the bell icon to receive your notifications. And thank you for listening. Stay home, stay safe. I'm going to stop sharing this slide. Okay. Well then, students, till we meet again, stay safe and thank you for listening.